Hello everyone! Today we're heading straight into the Wild West, one of the most storied periods in American history. Buckle up and grab your Stetsons. There was more to the late 19th century than tumbleweed and dusty saloons. Fast draws, infamous shootouts, and legendary figures were the hallmarks of that era. These gunslingers ranged from cold-blooded outlaws to heroes, and some, they danced somewhere in the middle actually. We're listing the top 10 most famous gunslingers from the Wild West, whose names continue to be remembered through history, films, and campfire stories, from the lawmen who tamed the frontier to the bandits who controlled the badlands. And believe me, you'll understand why the Wild West will always hold a special place in our hearts by the time we reach number 1. So let's ride right into it and pull out our pistols. Billy the Kid. First up is none other than Billy the Kid, the quintessential representation of the outlaw West. Billy's story is reminiscent of a Hollywood film, and with good reason, as he was born Henry McCarty sometime around 1859. He was raised in difficult circumstances, started committing crimes at a young age, and by the time he was in his late teens, he was already stealing cattle, horses, and attention. He gained notoriety for his deadly accuracy and lightning-fast draw during the Lincoln County War in New Mexico. Although some claim the number is even higher, Billy was alleged to have killed at least 8 men. His charisma, not just his gun skills, is what set him apart. He's the kind of outlaw you practically cheered for. Young, bold, and always smiling. However, Sheriff Pat Garrett found him and shot him dead in 1881, ending his run. He was only 21. Billy the Kid, the boy who lived quickly, passed away young, and became an enduring legend, still the quintessential representation of rebellion today. Wyatt Earp. Now, if Billy the Kid was the poster boy for outlaws, Wyatt Earp was the face of law and order, at least most of the time. Despite serving as a lawman in a number of frontier towns, Earp's legacy was solidified in Tombstone, Arizona. He and his brothers, along with Doc Holliday, participated in one of the most well-known shootouts in history, the gunfight at the OK Corral in 1881, where they engaged the Clanton Gang. Hundreds of books and movies have recounted the brief 30-second gunfight. Some people saw Wyatt as a hero, while others saw him as a villain because of his composure in the face of criticism and his resolve to bring justice to the lawless West. Following Tombstone, Wyatt roamed the West in search of mining prospects, business endeavors, and of course notoriety. He lived long enough to become a legend, passing away quietly in 1929 at the age of 80. Imagine that one of the best gunfighters in the Wild West lived to witness the development of talking movies. That's crazy now. Wild Bill Hickok. At number 8, we have Wild Bill Hickok, a man whose name still conjures up images of adventure. He was a real-life action hero who served as a Union soldier, scout, law enforcement officer, gambler, and marksman. Hickok was a legendary marksman. Like a classic superhero, he carried his trademark ivory-handled Colt revolvers and was said to be able to hit a dime thrown in the air. In 1869, one of his most well-known shootouts took place in Springfield, Missouri. Wild Bill faced Davis Tutt and killed him at a distance of 75 yards. It was unprecedented at the time. Hickok became the first real celebrity gunslinger in the West after that duel. However, his tale came to a Wild West conclusion. In 1876, while playing poker in Deadwood, South Dakota, Hickok was shot in the back by Jack McCall. The aces and eights he was holding came to be known as the Dead Man's Hand for all time. Hey there, cowboy, if you're enjoying this ride through the Wild West, don't holster that trigger finger just yet. To ensure you don't miss a single showdown, hit the like button, subscribe for more amazing history videos, and ring that notification bell. Alright, I'm back in the saddle. Let's continue our ride. Jesse James. Jesse James is one of those names that evokes both fascination and fear. He was the first American outlaw celebrity, not just a gunslinger. Following the Civil War, the James Younger Gang, led by Jesse and his brother Frank James, robbed stagecoaches, banks, and railroads throughout the Midwest. The twist, though, is that Jesse presented himself as a Robin Hood, robbing the wealthy, lending a hand to the underprivileged, and sharing his tale with the media. He was cunning, vicious, and constantly ahead of the game. No one caught him for more than 10 years. Betrayal, however, came from within. In 1882, Jesse was hanging a picture on the wall when he was shot in the back by Robert Ford, a member of his own gang. He passed away right away, but his legend only got bigger. Jesse James became a symbol of defiance against authority through songs, dime novels, and films. The distinction between folk hero and villain became permanently hazy. John Wesley Hardin. Next up is John Wesley Hardin, who may be the most lethal gunfighter of all time. According to reports, Hardin, who was born in Texas, killed his first man when he was 15 years old. He allegedly killed over 40 people before he was apprehended. Whether or not that's accurate, one thing's for sure. This man had a quick trigger finger and a short fuse. His reputation's pretty clear from the fact that he once said he shot a man for snoring too loudly. Hardin eluded law enforcement and bounty hunters for a large portion of his life. He was eventually apprehended and given a 25-year prison term. Unexpectedly, Hardin studied law while incarcerated and went on to practice law after being released. However, the quiet was short-lived. He was shot dead in an El Paso saloon in 1895, demonstrating that fast guns die faster and bad habits die hard. Doc Holliday. The renowned Doc Holliday, a gunfighter, gambler, and Wyatt Earp's devoted friend, comes in at number 5. Doc's nickname comes from the fact that he was a dentist before he ever picked up a gun. However, he moved west in the hopes that the dry air would help his lungs after receiving a TB diagnosis. Instead, he discovered a new vocation in gunfighting, drinking, and gambling. Doc was renowned for his deadly accuracy, loyalty, and short fuse. He was a key player in the gunfight at the OK Corral, where he and the Earps defeated the Clanton gang. He was plagued by illness all of his life. He wasn't killed in a gunfight, even though he was one of the most dangerous men in the West. At the age of 36, he died quietly in a hotel bed in Colorado in 1887. His final remarks, "This is funny," they said. The most lethal dentist in history was Doc Holliday. Annie Oakley. It's time to honor Annie Oakley, one of the most amazing women in the Wild West. Annie was a sharpshooter who could outgun practically anyone. She wasn't a lawman or an outlaw. Annie, who was born in Ohio in 1860, started shooting early on to support her family. Her aim was so accurate by the time she was in her teens that she began to defeat more experienced marksmen in competitions. When she joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, she got her big break and amazed audiences in both America and Europe. Before a playing card hit the ground, she could shoot it into the air, strike the edge, and cut it in half. Even well-known people like Kaiser Wilhelm II wanted to watch her shoot. But it's probably for the best that she missed the one shot that was intended for a cigar. In an era when few women dared to enter a man's world, Annie rose to become a global symbol for women. Annie Oakley demonstrated that the West wasn't just for cowboys with her poise, self-assurance, and deadly accuracy. Butch Cassidy. The Wild Bunch Gang's leader, Butch Cassidy, is the third well-known outlaw we meet. Butch, whose real name was Robert Leroy Parker, was a smooth-talking, charming bank and train robber who rose to fame for his fashion sense as well as his crimes. He had a talent for outwitting the law, was courteous, and never killed needlessly. Butch carried out some of the most audacious heists in Western history with his right-hand man, the Sundance Kid, including train robberies that garnered national attention. However, Butch and Sundance fled to South America as law enforcement became more organized. Nobody truly knows the conclusion of their story. Some claim they lived in silence under false identities, while others say they were killed in a shootout in Bolivia in 1908. In any case, their legend endures, particularly because of the iconic film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Belle Starr. In second place is Belle Starr, the bandit queen herself. Belle, Myra Maybelle Shirley, was not the frontier type of woman. She was classy, daring, and appreciated the adventure of being in danger. She was married to 2 notorious offenders and socialized with other outlaws during her lifetime, like Jesse James and the Younger Brothers. However, Belle was more than just a co-conspirator. She was a woman in her own right. She had pistols on her hips, rode horses expertly, and didn't hesitate to defend herself from harm. She hid fugitives, ran with gangs, and ruled her Oklahoma outlaw territory like a queen. Her legend was further enhanced by her unexplained death in 1889 after being shot in the back on a desolate road. The mystery is still unsolved, and no one was ever found guilty. Belle Starr demonstrated to the world that women could be just as fearless, dangerous, and memorable as men, even in the Wild West. Bill Longley. At number 1, we have a name that not everyone's familiar with, but that all outlaws dreaded. Bill Longley. This Texan would have won the trophy if the Wild West had a Most Feared award. William Preston Longley, born in 1851, was a real ruthless man. He'd already killed his first man at the age of 17. By the time he was apprehended, he had at least 32 confirmed kills under his belt. Longley didn't bother pretending. in contrast to some outlaws who had a moral code, killed for financial gain, retaliation, and occasionally for no apparent reason. He was a quintessential frontier Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, charming one moment and deadly the next. He roamed Texas, terrorizing, shooting, and robbing anyone who dared to cross him. The law eventually caught up. After years of evasion, Bill Longley was hanged in Giddings, Texas in 1878. He was grinning and making jokes until the trapdoor opened. "If I had another chance, I'd make them pay double," he once asserted. That statement essentially captures the essence of the man. Fearless, defiant, and unrepentant all the way to the end. That is it. The top 10 most famous gunslingers of the Wild West. It was a time of danger and adventure, legends and lies, of winding streets and drawing guns. But most importantly, it gave birth to American folklore, where myth and reality met at noon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with other lovers of history if you enjoyed this historical adventure. Till next time, partners, keep your aim steady, your boots dusty, and your legends larger than life. See you on the next trail.